Hey everyone, how's it going? I am just going to be kicking off the Facebook Live here before we get started. So, so I'm calling this the Veteran Database CMS options. All right, I'm trying to go over the CMS, essentially, which is what this is, our portal, review our new potential CMS, and kind of take it from there to see where this will go. So looks like everything is kicking off pretty well. Boo, 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 boo. Alrighty. So we are live on Veteran Database page. Cool. So now I'm going to share this to my profile. Cool. I'm trying to use this as a checklist to make sure I cover comments. And then we want to share this to a group. Naturally, we want to try to get feedback from as many places as possible. And there we go. That is in the VeteranDB community. And finally, we are looking at the Vetpreneur Tribe. Ba, ba, da, ba. Boom, boom. And that is out there. Cool, cool. So I will check comments in a little bit, but as we're diving into this, if you guys have any questions, just throw them in the video wherever you see it, and then I'll circle around and check comments. So this is our current CMS, our portal, if you will. On this side, we have all of our navigational items. These docs feature request support, those link to external sites. And then you have the My Account section, right? This is basic principles of managing your account. Cool. On the dashboard, we have not really developed anything for this yet. We have your emails, just so you know it's the right account. And then we have some text saying we haven't put anything here yet. Then on the side, we have the various different, in WordPress, you might call it a post type, but these are different content modules that would live within the CMS so that they can be publicly put onto the website. So each one of these operates exactly the same, business being the most extensive, and then everything else is a deviation from that. So you have all your business listings like so. You click on one, and that will load the actual business itself. And once this loads up, then you can go through and enter in all of your information, iterate through these, contact info, your cover image, your logo, your SEO side of things, your social media side of things. There's also an embed widget, which is pretty sweet. The status, active status of that business item, and then the deletion aspect. This is the same for every one of these. And so what I'm trying to figure out right now is, do we migrate to a CMS that is not custom developed, but maybe customized? And what I mean by that is this entire system here, I developed think that's the website. Yep, I developed right here using Next.js, React, TypeScript. These are code languages that I utilized to write every line of code for this. And so now that we reached the pinnacle of this as where it stands today, now I'm looking at efficiency, because one of the things that I'm looking at is I have a lot of stuff to manage, and if I can make it easier for me to manage this information, then maybe I can do more things that are not writing every line of code. And what I'm looking at is essentially the marketing. We're getting ready to launch a podcast. We're getting ready to launch an e-commerce store. We got a mobile app in development. All of these things are happening simultaneously. And what I'm looking at is, how can I do this more efficiently? I'm a huge fan of modularity and efficiency, and you can see that within the code that I write. At the same time, if I have to write less code to achieve the same goal, then I can move things along faster. And that's what I'm looking at now. Right out the gate, I'm looking at a CMS called Strapi. And so with Strapi, the API and the CMS are one and the same. What does this mean? This means that I won't have app.veterandb.com and api.veterandb.com anymore. Those two separate applications would be combined into one, which is going to make it a lot easier for me to work on and a lot faster for me to produce new modules. Assuming that the CMS is as flexible as I believe it is, then we're going to be able to do a lot more stuff in a shorter amount of time. That's what I'm looking at. So right now, if there happens to be a change to the API, I pull up the code. Let me back up. If you don't know what an API is the logic that happens within your application. Developers call this CRUD operations. See if I can find a crash course iteration of this, but CRUD is create, read, update, delete. So think of everything you've ever done with a mobile app, a website, some software on your computer. If you can create something, if you can read or view something, if you can update it or delete it, then there is an API behind the scenes. You don't even see it. This is the underlying everything for every piece of software that's ever lived. CRUD operations. So moving back to here, anytime there is a change here, I have to log into a very specific set of our code. I have to make a lot of different changes. There's a lot of work for testing. And even if I make a change here, I still have to make the change here in the portal. And then I still have to go to the main website to update that as well. So that's 3 places that I'm making changes. Whereas if I just have the CMS, that's going to consolidate these two into one, where I update the CMS and then I update the website, which will greatly expedite our capability, because we can do XYZ in the CMS, and then when we get to it on the website, it'll be there. So it means we can stutter step our way through this instead of having to stop everything. So let's say, for instance, the services, you want to add services to your business, to show off your services, the different services that you offer. That's actually on my to-do list right now, and it's already added to the API. So now I have to go add it into the portal. And then once I add it to the portal, it then has to be added to the public website. So I actually have to reconfigure the API, update the portal, update the website. That's a crap ton of work, especially for one person. So for efficiency's sake, I just update how this operates and then update the website. And that is what I'm looking for. So efficiency is key. So before I do a quick rundown on that, I'm gonna go do a check for questions. Let's see. VeteranDB community, no questions. Vetpreneur tribe, no questions. Personal profile, no questions. And then VeteranDB Facebook group, no questions. All right, running on all cylinders. So let me go ahead and close these out. So another thing that's a big deal is with our custom developed CMS, we have to create every piece of documentation on how it operates. That's a lot of work. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But if we choose a CMS like this, they already have documentation written for how the CMS operates. They have it here. It's a user guide. So we wouldn't have to create documentation for everything. We would just need to create documentation for stuff that is specific to us. And that is going to lighten the load as well, even further. And so these are kind of the things that we're looking at as how can we improve efficiency? So if you're unfamiliar with the CMS, CMS is a content management system. If you have WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, Weebly for old Robbie G out there, these things are a content management system. You manage the content for your website. So that's what I'm looking at now. Right out the gate, here we have the Strapi dashboard, and every bit of this can be customized, including the colors, the branding, all of that jazz. I'm not concerned with that. So what I'm looking at is this here. You go to business, you click add, you navigate to business, you update content. That's what I'm looking at. So here in Strapi, you go to content manager, you go to business, you add, you create something. Let's call this Robbie G's factory. Cool. The slug will auto generate text until you delete it, and then it'll generate a slug based on your title. And that's all visible here. Take that out. Maybe that's how you want it. Cool. That's fine. It'll also tell you if that slug is available. Now, the slug is a pretty big deal because that's what is used on the actual public website for people to find your stuff. Here. So my slug for Carbon Digital is Carbon-Digital. Boom. That's what you would be looking for here. This is your public slug. Then from here, you can go through and add your information, your basic details, description, your website. You can add your logo, cover image, a gallery of images, then go through, add all of your social media links that are currently supported. We can add more. We just need to find a suitable icon for them. After that, you go through and add your contact information, email, phone, and then this is a beautiful thing here. This is something that I've been wanting to do, especially as we're trying to integrate a future edition into a veteran database, Google Maps edition, so to speak. You can add multiple locations. So if you have multiple locations for your business, this is a beauty. Then after that, we look at the services. You can list multiple services, and this will be very easy to use. We don't have an image here, but I don't know if we need one. That's a problem for another day, but if it's needed and we go with this CMS, then that's the bridge we'll cross, right? So from there, you can add another service. And then ultimately you can go through and customize some of your SEO items. So title, description, and then your image. We can utilize this to further boost your SEO for your profile, which is the base premise of all of this, right? So everything here would be exactly the same. We're gonna leave that. You go to directory, same exact thing. Title, slug, basic details, social media, contact info, services, SEO. Nonprofit podcast, it would all work the same. Everything in here, just like our existing system, you can only see what you have created. So you're not going to be able to find other people. That is by design. And you're only going to be able to manage your own content, which is also by design. But one thing that we have in here is a unified media library. So if you upload an image, aka an asset, then you can actually see it here and you can retrieve it. So if you have multiple iterations of your logo and you want to rotate through them, you have that capability with this. We would probably consider some sort of limit on image uploads based on how much content you actually have, but it's going to be hard to manage because there's also a gallery option. So still going to have to work out what that's going to look like, but nonetheless, this is exactly what we would be looking at doing, which is it's a beautiful thing here. So what I'm trying to figure out is, does everyone out there in Facebook land think that this custom developed CMS is better than an existing CMS, or should we migrate to the new CMS? That is the goal. So do another round of question checks. All right. Checking VetDB community. No questions. How exciting. Checking Vetpreneur Tribe. No questions. All right. Checking personal profile. No questions. Checking the veteran database page. No questions. How exciting. So that is where we're at. That is what we're trying to figure out. So please provide some contextual feedback as to what you think would be the better direction to go, because this is the last piece of the puzzle before we swan dive into the next major development and the next series of releases. So please let us know. Till next time, guys, take it easy.